Welcome back. Welcome back. Another day, another series preview.
Ugh!
We've done almost all of these that are
Ah!
already confirmed at the time of recording this. Still waiting on the playing games to happen. However, Pacers Bucks going to be a good one. A lot of action in these games earlier in the season. I'm excited. Obviously Giannis is doubtful for game one. Probably will not play, and no timetable when he's going to be back. Even though he is a freak of nature that heals like no other. However, this series is going to be interesting. I'm excited. There's going to be, if you want to watch offense, you watch this series. You want to watch defense, you watch the Cavs Magic series. Like, it's two totally different brands of basketball. But we're going to start off just giving you some info about each team so you can make your picks yourselves. Some key things to look out for, questions or teams that what they have to answer, and then move on to our game picks, how many games, which team, all that kind of stuff. But just starting off with the Pacers, man. I mean, this offense is obviously as legit as they come. Second in offense in the NBA. Defense, however, atrocious. Honestly, shocking that a team with this bad of a defense made the playoffs. But 24th in defense for the season. Not great. You want to see that go up. You need to be in at least the top 15 to really compete. So that's just my thing here. But they
What are
are
those?
4-1 versus the Bucks.
What are
Huh?
those bubbles on your screen?
It's when you do a thumbs up. I found this out the other day. But no, so they're 4-1, and the only game they lost is when Giannis dropped 64. I mean, he also had 54 in another game versus them this season. So if Giannis played, he was going to dominate this series. So it's just one of those things. But the thing about the Pacers is they don't really turn it over as much as as fast as they play and everything like that. I think it's a lot to do with Tyrese having the ball a lot, but they're second in turnover percentage, ninth in turnovers per game, just because they get so many more possessions because of the pace they play at than any other team. But like in the percentage of possessions they have, they don't turn it over. Only Boston is less. So that's going to be a big thing if the Bucks can create turnovers. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the Bucks or the Pacers.
So, like, me personally, not to be disrespectful, like Giannis is a bitch, Doc Rivers is a bitch. Uh,
Not to be disrespectful.
the only one who I respect on the Bucks, whole gang finna crash out, Bobby Portis. I, I really think they're in trouble, and I think that as much as Dame was such a hype move and everybody was geeked on that, like, and he's a great player in the playoffs, and he's a little bit older or whatever, maybe a little bit edging out of his prime, but this young team, the pace they play, the looks that they get with that pace, so many open shots, and they crash glass so hard. Like, I know Brooks going to be down there being an absolute tree, but this matchup favors the Pacers in a huge way. Like, it's not that they're a better team, but I just feel like they're going to run circles around those old ass dudes till they pass out.
That's a fact. I see that a lot, and the key component to this series for me is T.J. McConnell. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when you have somebody who can really continue that pace and the stamina and crash the glass and get as many rebounds as he does and just be in the right spot at the right time, that definitely wears off on the rest of the guys. Not to mention that you now have Pascal Siakam. So this is something that has been brewing for a minute, I would say, ever since the in-season tournament. You saw the feud, you saw the fire between those two teams, and I was eager for this. I'm glad that we get to see it. And I may go Indiana, like y'all said, just younger cast. Pace is crazy. I was on the phone with Maddie the other day. He talking about, man, every Obi play, he just jumping out the gym. He's soaring to the
Hope he's
basket.
back for game one. I do hope he's back. He
You
got
know what
hurt in
I'm
the
saying?
Cavs game, but no, I mean for the Bucks, like they just have to dominate on the glass. Like the Pacers are not a good rebounding team, and the key to beating them is killing them on the glass. Like if you just don't allow this team to get second chance points, and just try like I know you want to get offensive rebounds, but I really do think that this Pacers offense struggles more than people think in the half court. A lot of this is rebound, get to Tyrese and run. And that's how they generate a lot of their looks before the defense is set. So they have those mismatches because it's just a scramble. So if you can force them to play a little bit more to your pace, which is a little bit slower, and you can get them the Pacers to slow down a bit, that's how you see this team lose. And we've seen it again. They've beaten some of the league's best, like the Bucks, 4 times this season, and they've also seen it and lost to some of the really bad teams in this league. Like if you slow them down and you rebound well, you have a good chance of beating this Pacers team. I just don't know without the force that Giannis brings inside. It's going to be tough. I think Bobby Portis, as Finn mentioned, is going to be able to do a lot of that. And if he's hot and Dame, because I mean, Dame and Tyrese are going to be able to score. Neither of these teams can guard. Like they're both bad defensively. And this is like people are going to be able to score. It's really about who gets stops and who can get more offensive chances by rebounding. Like that's what this series comes down to if you want to just boil it down.
Instead of stops, it just might be who's going to score more points. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's going to be a battle of pace. Like neither teams are really going to be able to stop each other. And guys like Obi highlight plays, like Matt said. You're just going to have to put the ball in the bucket more times than the Bucks. And I know it's going to be a lot easier said than done, especially if Giannis. I mean, if Giannis is in there tearing that ass up, that's going to change the entire complexion of the series. But who do I trust in the clutch? I don't know, but it's not Doc Rivers.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, Doc's going to come into this series with a game plan. We're not going to see it change. So, like,
there's no way they make adjustments.
So, if you go and Rick Carlisle's a good coach, man. Like, he's a very good coach.
Always has been.
So, he's going to be able to adjust. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing. The longer this series goes on, I think it more favors for the Pacers. I mean, I guess you could say Giannis coming back would be the deciding factor. But, like, Brook Lopez, I'm sorry, he's old. He can't really fucking move. So Miles Turner being out on the perimeter a lot of the time and not really getting just traditional post-up opportunities where Brook is at his best, or even in drop coverage, like it's a lot of fade. So Tyrese can get to his spots and you can run a ton of just Tyrese running by Brook Lopez and getting layups. Like we saw Tyrese dominate these games in season, tournament, regular season. Like Tyrese was very, very good. Probably his best games of the season came against the Bucks. So you're going to see a lot of Tyrese. I think one of the things is, can Pascal Siakam attack off the dribble as much as you want? Because if Brook Lopez is lurking, it's going to be tough to score. As slow as he is, he's a good rim protector. He's in the right spot at the right time.
But like you said,
though, beat him there.
Like you said, though, Miles Turner's going to keep him on the perimeter.
True.
And I think from a schematics point of view, like it's important for them to play that to their advantage where you have a big that can space and you have a big that can stretch, whether it's in the corner or high pick and rolls, whatever it may be. Get Brook out of the paint. Get Bobby out of the paint if they switch on to him. Like you need to create space for these guards to come in and slash. Like the Pacers are a team of slashers and obviously like pace and up and down or whatever. But in the half court, most of their buckets come from slashing, whether it be a driving kick or a lay or whatever. So you're going to need to free up space in the paint. I know Giannis, to be honest, like even though I hate him, does a good job of kind of just lurking, even if his guy is trying to pull him out. Brook, I feel like you can't leave Miles Turner. I mean, he's not the best shooter in the world.
They'll probably cross match and put it on the worst shooter so he can lurk. So like if you're, I mean, Obi Toppin's not a bad shooter, but like if Obi Toppin's in the game, you probably see Brook on Obi Toppin. Like you just do. Like that's what
then you have to play then you have to switch match that and go at him.
I agree. You have to just beat him off the dribble every time. And then
that's what I mean schematically. Like there's a lot of different folds with this matchup and I know it's why they've had success with them throughout the season so far, but you need to take advantage of these matchups because they favor you guys heavily. And I think Rick is good at that. He's done that his whole career where maybe he hasn't always had the most talent to work with. I know he's had some good rosters, but he does a good job of getting his guys dialed on where to attack.
Yeah, it's definitely
they did it with Bruce, dude.
Yeah, no, it's where you get your offense is going to be the key. I think if the Bucks can go and I mean if they can run, which they want to, the Bucks like to run. That's not the issue. It's can they keep up with the pace? Because if you start running, the Pacers are going to start running. And I don't know if you want that. I think the Pacers defense is so bad you can consistently score in the half court anytime you want. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like Dame and Bobby Portis are probably both going to average close to 30 in this series if Giannis doesn't play. Like that's like Bobby Portis is going to dominate. Dame is going to be able to hit shots. It's just who are the other guys that are going to be able to step up and create for themselves a little bit. When Brook Lopez is on someone or Malik Beasley's out on the perimeter, can you go and attack off the dribble? I think the Pacers should do a lot of TJ McConnell and Tyrese Halliburton together. I think being multiple in your offense and having two different guys have the ball is going to be the biggest key for them, because now you can have Tyrese coming off screens or and have TJ initiating everything. And I think that just opens so many doors for everyone else. But I think that's what the Pacers should do if I'm Rick Carlisle. But
you need to gas them.
Yeah, you have to just make them run, and you have to make them you just have to get enough timely stops for your offense to come through. And that's really for both teams. But we'll get into game picks here. I'm going to rock with the Pacers in 6, sorry. In 6. I don't know if it goes 7. Giannis will probably be back at that point, and I just don't see Giannis losing on his home floor. I just think that winning one or two of these games, if they go 0-2 to start, they're chalk though. I'm sorry, they just are. But I have faith in them. I think they're going to win game 1, and the Bucks have just not been good. Just quite frankly, have not been good. Ended the season 3-7 in their last 10. And the Pacers have low-key just had their number, even with Giannis. So I think they'll steal one, and as long as they can protect home court, they're in business. I got Pacers in 6. But I'm picking the Pacers for the series. I just don't know how many games. That's the question mark for me. But I think the Pacers are going to win it.
Before we started talking about it,
I was heavily leaning Pacers. The metrics all kind of point to it, low key. But I mean, now that I'm thinking about Giannis in there, depending on when he comes back, he's going to have such a field day with them. I know he hasn't this year, but a 7-game series.
He's had a field day. The team just hasn't won. The games have been close, though.
They've done he's obviously.
No, he had 64 in one game and 54 in another.
So at the end of the day, though, in a 7-game series, that's when he fucks them over. It's not like they're meeting on a random March Wednesday. So I'm going to change and pivot here, and I'm going to go Bucks at 7.
It's going to be a long series. I think that's the biggest thing. It just, to me, I don't know how healthy Giannis is going to be if he does or when he comes back.
They're going to shoot him up in the locker room.
True, but at a certain point, man, that's going to hurt. It's a calf strain, and it's the same injury we saw when KD tore his Achilles. It started off with that, and then it turned into the Achilles. So that's my only concern. I don't pray that happens, but I want good basketball, and I think Giannis being back would be great for it, but I just don't know.
Finally, the universe evening itself out for intentionally injuring Kyrie.
You're an asshole. Go ahead, Slim. What's your pick?
This is our first ep where me and Maddie have agreed. So
do you know that, Finn? Me and Slim are on opposite sides of every single game or series so far.
Has it been every one?
Every single one.
Well, I guess I'm the odd man out, dude.
Very wild, very wild. But yeah, I think y'all have spoken as truthfully as it comes down to, which is availability, which is stamina, which is pace, and I would say just like Orlando, go check out our Orlando video. I think that the Pacers are hungry just because they haven't been here in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Young squad. Very fresh. I think what comes down to it is, like my brother said, TJ McConnell. Is Neesmith available?
Mm-hmm.
Neesmith is that guy, and also with Pascal and Miles Turner, I think that is a decent function of everybody knowing their role and being able to take advantage of Brook Lopez and these bigger players maybe not able to really slide their feet and keep up with these young guys. So in regards to Milwaukee, I think that you really gotta, if you're not playing Giannis, you really gotta if Marjan Beauchamp is available, take some trust into the young cat, Doc. I think that's what it comes down to.
He ain't doing that. He ain't doing that. Doc, baby. But yeah, that's our game picks. Leave yours in the comments. It's going to be a great series. I'm pumped. Every series is just good, man. Every series is going to be absolute cinema. I don't really see many series going less than
absolute cinema from the kid.
It's going to be, dude. I don't want to miss a dribble of any game. But comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.